Today, we unravel a captivating tale of a man whose passion for speed and shrewd business acumen merged to create an empire. Meet Lawrence Stroll, the driving force behind one of the most extraordinary success stories in motorsports and entrepreneurship. From his humble beginnings to the dazzling heights of Formula One and beyond, we explore how Lawrence Stroll maneuvered through the twists and turns of life to amass his fortune. Get ready to witness a trailblazing tale of ambition, investments, and a high-octane journey that led him to the thrilling world of luxury racing and beyond. Lawrence Stroll, 63, now ranks as the 812th richest person in the world, according to the most recent estimate of his fortune, which has increased dramatically in recent years. Forbes estimates that Stroll's net worth increased from $2.4 billion in 2016 to $3.6 billion as of April 2023. As Stroll has diversified from cars and fashion by leading the Racing Point Consortium to own an F1 team before heavily investing in the Aston Martin car company, his rise coincides with his astute investments in motorsport. The family business, specifically the fashion industry, is where Lawrence Stroll has found success. Stroll, who was born on July 11, 1959 in Montreal, Canada, originally went by the name Strollovich because of his father's Russian ancestry. Father Leo was an importer of clothing who first introduced the Pierre Cardin name to Canada. Throughout his childhood and adolescence, Stroll studied on his father's side, and on his 17th birthday, he received the license for Pierre Cardin's children's clothing in Canada. Stroll jumped right into his work and spent the following 10 years expanding the brand across Canada. In a major stroke of luck 15 years later, Stroll would wind up competing for a car with Ralph Lauren, whose brand was just starting to gain traction in the US. Lauren would ultimately take home the car, but Stroll left with a new license and the authority to represent Polo Ralph Lauren in Europe on behalf of Poloco SA. In 1989, Silas Chow, a Hong Kong-based textile manufacturer who was acquainted with Stroll because their fathers had previously collaborated, formed Sportswear Holdings in partnership with Stroll. The Ralph Lauren brand flourished in Europe under Sportswear Holdings, enabling the partnership to also make a sizable investment in the Tommy Hilfiger brand. Stroll took over responsibility for marketing and growth, while Chow became the major shareholder, managed supply and distribution, and served on the board of directors from 1992 to 2002. Sportswear Holdings acquired Pepe Jeans in 1991, and by 2000, the company had $2 billion in annual revenue, up from $25 million 11 years earlier. Stroll served as the group's CEO from 1993 to 1998. Another successful business venture was Sportswear Holdings' 2003 acquisition of the Michael Kors brand, where it invested $85 million to acquire 85% of the business. Stroll served as the business co-chairman from 2003 to 2011. In 2011, the business went public on the New York Stock Exchange, increasing its value to $3.6 billion. In 2014, Sportswear Holdings sold the final portion of its Michael Kors stock. After becoming a billionaire, Stroll started investing in motorsports, his second love. Because Stroll had bought the Mont-Tremblant circuit outright in 2000, it was already clear that he had a keen interest in cars and driving. Stroll welcomed Chloe and Lance in the 1990s, along with Claire-Anne Collins, a Belgian native. Lance started his karting career in Canada and North America while the family was living in Geneva, Switzerland. There, in 2008, he won the Quebec Rookie of the Year award, and a year later, the Driver of the Year award. His karting prowess caught Ferrari's eye, and in 2010, they accepted him into their driver academy. Stroll competed in his first auto race in the 2014 Florida Winter Series, which was put on by the Ferrari Driver Academy as a collection of non-championship races. Max Verstappen and Nicholas Latifi, two potential F1 competitors, were also on the starting grid. Stroll's best finish was second place at Homestead, Miami. Stroll's first competitive championship car was an Italian F4, where he benefited from his father's support early on because Lawrence had made a significant investment in Prema. Unofficial estimates made at the time suggested that Stroll contributed about $60 million to Prema in order to give his son access to the best tools and preparation methods. Stroll finished 5th overall in 2015 after moving up to F3 by winning the Italian F4 championship at the first attempt. In 2016, he would triumph in the series outright. But detractors would point out that the field had been significantly diminished by the departure of 5 teams and the refusal of Felix Rosenqvist, the reigning champion, to compete after 3 years in the division. Williams F1 signed Lance as a development driver before offering the Canadian a full-time race seat for the 2017 season, dispelling rumors that Lawrence was investing a sizable sum, $10 million, in the team. Well, how did Lawrence end up owning a whole F1 team? Stick around to find out. Despite scoring 40 points in 2017, including a podium finish in Azerbaijan, Lance Stroll's time at Williams would later be characterized as torture by his father. When Sergio Perez forced the Vijamalya-owned Force India team into administration, Lawrence used his enormous wealth to assemble a group of interested parties, including sportswear holdings partner Silas Chow, to form Racing Point, and made a bid for the struggling team. Racing Point would end up becoming the team's new owner, with Stroll taking over at the halfway point of the 2018 campaign. Naturally, Lawrence started the process of bringing his son Lance on board and fired Esteban Ocon from the driver's seat from the upcoming season. Only 18 months later, Stroll again reached for his wallet to guide Utri Investments in making a $235 million investment in the Aston Martin automaker. Utri increased its investment from a starting 19% stake to a 28% stake over the first 18 months of ownership, becoming executive chairman of the business. Having operational control over both Racing Point and Aston Martin, Stroll set about combining the two. His F1 team was renamed the Aston Martin Factory F1 team at the beginning of 2021, with his son Lance paired up with four-time champion Sebastian Vettel. Although Stroll's initial motivation for investing such large sums of money in Formula One may have been to help his son Lance find his way in the sport, the astute businessman has since committed to a massive investment program for his F1 team. Since the financial regulations were introduced in 2021, the former Jordan Force India team has been able to build competitive machines to the full extent of the F1 budget cap thanks to Stroll and Aston Martin's input. Stroll also gave his approval for the construction of a brand new cutting-edge F1 factory near Silverstone, which is scheduled to start operations in the upcoming months. Stroll also successfully managed to convince Fernando Alonso to leave the Alpine F1 team, Group Renault's factory F1 entry, with whom he won 2 titles in 2005 and 2006, in order to join the burgeoning Aston Martin squad. Evidence, if there ever was any, needed that the billionaire means business. Despite a preseason injury limiting his testing time, the Canadian driver has made an impressive start to life as Alonso's teammate, with his son Lance holding his own against Vettel during their 2 seasons as teammates. While Stroll has placed in the points in 2 of the 3 races, Alonso has started the season with 3 straight podium finishes. The surprise of 2023 has so far been Aston Martin, who shot to the front of the grid after beginning the new regulation cycle in 2022 near the back. Red Bull aerodynamicist Dan Follows, an important signing, has been instrumental in helping the team understand the new rules. In addition to his passion for fashion, Stroll has amassed a sizable collection of extremely expensive and exotic cars, mostly Ferraris. Stroll established himself as a Ferrari dealer by offering the brand for sale in Montreal. His collection includes the Ferrari 250 GTO, GT40, F50, 288 GTO, and 275 GTB Spider. He spent £20 million on the Spider in 2013 and £50 million on a private sale of his 250 GTO in 2018. He also owned a 1996 McLaren F1 and a Ford GT, among other vehicles. Stroll also owned a super yacht by the name of Faith, which she occasionally sailed. The yacht, which costs around £2 million and was constructed in 2017, included a beach club, a glass-bottomed pool, a helipad, and a built-in fireplace in the lounge. He is thought to have sold the yacht to Michael Latifi, the father of Nicholas Latifi, a Canadian race car driver, with Stroll ordering the construction of a new super yacht to take the place of Faith. As we wrap up the incredible journey of Lawrence Stroll and his rise to financial success, we can truly admire his remarkable achievements in the business world. From fashion to motorsports and beyond, his entrepreneurial spirit and strategic investments have made him a force to be reckoned with.